All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Friday, September 10th, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk some leadership, folks. We're going to talk about what it means to lead. And man, this is a topic we could go on and on and on about. But, in today's world, it is more important than ever that we find and continue to grow leaders and that those leaders, um, you know, take leadership positions, that those people are willing to, stand in the uncomfortable, do the things that real leaders do. So we're going to talk about that this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening, guys? It's my favorite day of the week, Fridays, man. And the reason that it's my favorite day of the week is because I walk in here every day. I wake up every Friday, and I know that by the end of the day, I will have created a lot of space between me and most of the world, right? And we always talk about that, going out like a lion, not going out like a mouse, man. It is another Friday. It is a beautiful day. Fall, I don't know, man. You guys might think I'm crazy, but fall is like my favorite season, man. Spring and fall are like my favorite seasons. I just love walking outside. This morning I went for a run. It was 52 degrees. Man, it was just good to kind of feel that cold air. And I just love it, man. I love it. And for those of you who are in the States up here in the Northeast or probably the Midwest, you guys are probably all experiencing similar temperatures. And man, it's just great. It's refreshing. So happy Friday to you guys. We're going to talk some leadership this morning. We're going to talk about what it means to be a leader. What does it actually mean to be a leader? And man, in today's world, that definition is more important for us to understand right now, today, than I believe it has ever been in history. And so we're going to unpack that this morning. But as always, I want to say good morning to some folks. John Stanton, what's happening, brother? Trudy, good morning to you. Daniel Good, that's right, brother. Go out like a lion, man. Gary Skirt, good morning to you. Rick and Ed, good morning. People are checking in from all over the place, man. I love seeing the cities and states that everybody's from. It's good for you guys to leave that in the comments of this stream so that everybody can kind of figure out, everybody that watches the show, everybody can figure out where everybody is from. So please don't hesitate to do that. So I wanted to start off this conversation this morning, just kind of reading you guys the definition of leadership, right? So leadership has a couple different variations of the definition, but I think they're obviously all applicable. The action of leading a group of people or an organization. The state or position of being a leader, and the leaders of an organization, country, etc. So when you think about leadership in general, I think that, we all have been pretty familiar with, leadership in one way or another, right? We either, we were born into a family structure, so that has leadership. We have all worked in different environments where leadership is one level or another level. And when we think about, what a good leader looks like, it's pretty easy to describe what that is, and I want to, just give you guys kind of a crystal clear picture of, what it means to lead and what that actually looks like. Great leaders, number one, obviously, they have a stability and a strength to them, a confidence to them that is undeniable, right? Their confidence and their strength generally makes everybody around them better. Everybody around them feels more secure, feels more confident as a result of the strength and the confidence of the leader. The second thing that I would say about leadership is that leadership is proactive, like always actually leading, right? Like they are leading they're leading the charge. They're out in front, and they're taking the roadblocks out of the way is probably a great way to look at it, right? They're anticipating the challenges. They're looking at the things that are coming, and they're bringing people together in order to achieve a common goal. And so when we think about, common goals in today's world, there's so much separation in the way that people perceive things or the way that things are sold to us. But true leaders, real leaders, are able to take those very different views of things and bring people together to a common goal. And so when you look at, the very best of the best when it comes to leadership, it is those people that have vision. They have confidence. Leaders are readers, as I say. They're educated. They understand what's going on around them. They listen. And they are not afraid to take charge and make things happen. And so in the world around us today, what we see many times that are labeled as leaders are not actually leaders at all. When you see those people who are not doing the things that I just described, right? They're not necessarily so confident. They're not necessarily proactive. They're reactive to almost everything. Those are not leaders, right? And so I want to put that out there, because I want everybody to understand that many of the things that we see on a frequent basis in our world today is not actually indicative of what it should be, of what something is. And so we can sometimes get our expectations, or the way that we look at leadership, we can get that tainted, right? We can start to accept something that isn't leadership as leadership. And so it's important for us to identify those real leaders in the world. And again, it's not, it's not about what somebody believes or whatever, the things that people disagree on in our world today. Those are not necessarily as important as identifying who is going to be able to see both sides of that and bring people together, who is going to be able to, kind of maintain the vision of, whether it's your company, whether it's our country, whether it's whatever it is. Are you able to maintain and improve the vision of where things are going? That is a real leader. And what it means to lead is that you are going to be uncomfortable. You're going to do a lot of things that are unpopular. You're going to face some opposition. But in the end, a good leader will be able to unite. I want you to think about that, because there's a lot going on in the world today that is not uniting anything, right? It is creating more and more and more division. And so when we look at leadership over the last, let's just say the last handful of years, but maybe the last, I don't even know how long, there have not been very many great examples of true leadership. And so it's a challenge in today's world. It's a challenge because of, the things that are going on around us. It is, in my perspective, in my experience, these things are transitioning into the business world, right? Like the things that we see out in the world, whether it be politics or anything like that, those things absolutely impact the rest of the world, how people lead their families, how people lead their businesses. And so what it means to lead, you don't have to be popular. Everybody doesn't have to like you, but you do have to be respected, and you do have to be understanding, and you do have to be, kind to some degree to be a good leader. And sometimes, by the way, kind is a relative and subjective definition. My buddy Glenn Lundy says to be clear is to be kind. Some people don't necessarily agree with that, because the clear message that comes across is not always received properly, right? People are, sensitive to receiving that type of feedback, and they may not receive it very well. But when it comes to leadership, guys, power, understanding, offering people grace. But make no mistake, leadership takes confidence. Leadership takes clear direction. Leadership takes being proactive. Leadership takes understanding everybody's position and being able to bring people together for a common goal. But to listen and to make decisions based on the things that you see, not based on what necessarily is great for the leader. That's another indicator of a leader, is that they don't always make the decision that benefits them the most. They make the decision that benefits the group the most, right? It is within a company, you will see the very best companies that the leader doesn't always make the decision that benefits them, but rather the one that benefits the team, one that benefits the customers. Might make it more difficult for the leader. And so often in today's world, we see leaders taking the easy way out. And so leadership is not easy. Leadership requires you to stand in the fire of being unpopular at times, but being able to explain your position to those that disagree with you and possibly make sense of it. And again, in the world today, this is something that is so different in the way that, the world interacts. But it is important for us to never lose sight of what real leadership looks like. Because when we look at people with titles, whether it's at work or in the world or our families or whatever it may be, when we look at people with titles, titles do not dictate leadership. I promise you that. If you guys want to know what real leadership looks like, I highly recommend. I've talked about it a ton on this show, but John Maxwell wrote a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And that book just defines it all. That book defines it all. One of the laws in that book is the law of influence. And it says the person with the most influence is the leader. Proves my point that titles are not leadership positions. Titles do not create leadership. They do not create leaders. Titles create positions. But true leaders are defined by actions. They're defined by influence. They're defined by their ability to unite and move things forward. And that is true on any level you want to look at it, right? If you are the leader of your family, your job is to be able to bring people together and unite them, regardless of how much they disagree. Regardless of how much my kids argue with each other, my job as the leader in our family is to make both of those children or multiple children that are arguing with each other understand where the other one is coming from. These are the lowest, the easiest lessons that we can teach as leaders. It gets a lot more complex as we become grown-ups, right? We start dealing with business things or world things or political things, whatever it may be. Those things get really, really complicated, right? Because you're dealing with people that are very charged up in their emotions, right? And they're very convinced that their position is right. But I will tell you this, the level of emotional intelligence that it takes to be a true leader in today's world has never been higher. The level of emotional intelligence that it takes to be a true leader is higher than it's ever been before. And why do I say that? I challenge you guys to think about this today. When something happens that you disagree with, when something happens that doesn't go your way, when something happens that's going to make life a little inconvenient for you, how you respond defines your level of emotional intelligence, your emotional IQ. And I promise you this, you will not find one leader that is truly respected and truly looked at the right way as a true leader. You will not find one that doesn't most of the time, because I don't think anybody's 100% on this, but doesn't most of the time respond in the right way. Doesn't think before they respond, doesn't jump to conclusions, but they just deal with issues. And so I want you guys to consider that in your own lives. How do you respond to things? Because I promise you this, if you become a better listener, if you're genuinely curious about other people's opinions, especially those who disagree with you, you will make the world a better place. And you will become undeniably the leader amongst whoever it is that you're existing with, whether it's in your family, in your business, in the world, around those people that have different views than you. You will be highly respected, because that is what it takes, and that is what true leadership is. It's about listening, respecting people's opinions, especially when they disagree. Listening, respecting people's opinions, offering grace to people, being proactive, being out in front, making things easier for those people who you are leading, not more difficult. These are the signs of leadership. What does it mean to lead? Those are the things. Those are the list of things that it takes to be a leader. We could go on and on and on for hours. I could probably talk here for 8 hours about leadership and still have things to cover. But you have to be kind. You have to come from the right place. You have to be understanding. You have to know people. People have to understand that you genuinely care about them, right? They say they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That is 100% accurate in leadership. And it is more important today than it's ever been to be all of the things that we just talked about. And so I challenge you guys today on this Friday to go out there in the world today and be leaders. Be kind to somebody that needs it today. Be kind to a stranger. And just got a video yesterday from Keith Calloway. And, in the video it said, man, be kind to somebody. Be kind to a stranger today. Maybe they can see that little piece of God inside of you. Maybe they can see that little piece of the good in the world in you, and that will inspire them to be a little bit better. So go out there today, guys, and be a leader in this world. Be respectful of those people, especially if they disagree with you. That's what we need. We need people that take a stand for what's right, but that are open to the conversation and are willing to sit down with those that they disagree with. And most of all, put God first, take care of your families, be a leader in this world, and be an example to those that need it, right? We all have those days where we need that example to push us forward. Be that person. Be kind to somebody today. Do something great for the world today, and in return, you are doing something great for yourself. So appreciate you guys being here. It's Friday, guys, so make sure you're playing to the whistle. I am headed up Cleveland with the kids this evening. We're going to stay. I'm taking the 3 oldest ones. We're going to stay overnight in Cleveland, and we're going to check out the Monster Jam tomorrow. My little buddy Quincy is a big fan of the Monster Jam, so we're going to go see the Monster Trucks tomorrow. Going to take the 3 oldest, and my wife is going to hang here in Pittsburgh with the youngest, and man, it should be a good night. I'm looking forward to spending the night with the kids, grabbing some breakfast, showing them around Cleveland a little bit. For those of you that don't know, Cleveland's only a short 2-hour drive from Pittsburgh here. So looking forward to playing to the whistle today, going out like a lion, not like a mouse, and then taking my kiddos to have some fun this weekend. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here. And I will see you again Monday morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thank you.